We are looking at Newton's laws of motion, and if you look, here is the website that I got this little article off of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it on your bell ringer. I want you to put the date, and I want you to put at least, let me turn this on, at least that. And then what I'll do is I'll read it, and we'll come back, and I'll highlight a few things that I think would be important to jot down for your bell ringer, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get started reading. You read along with me, please. Not out loud, do so. But anyway, as you are reading this, you are probably aware of the chair or the floor pushing your body up, but you might not be aware that your body is actually moving. As the Earth spins and rotates around the sun, all of the bodies on it are in motion. We just don't realize it because we are part of the system that is moving. It's like when you're in a car that is moving. Unless you're watching out the window, you can do other things like read or play video games or watch a movie. I'm going to skip this part for right now. I'm going to come on down here. Suppose you're doing your homework or riding in a car and the driver slams on the brakes. What happens to your motion within the car? It might feel like you get jolted forward. You may even mess up your homework or spill your drink. How objects move became a topic of interest for a scientist named Isaac Newton around 1665. That was a long time ago. A familiar image of Newton is one where he is sitting under an apple tree and an apple falls on his head, an event that supposedly inspired Newton's studies of motion and mechanics. From his studies of how objects move, Newton developed 3 ideas that were verified by other scientists over the years and were eventually established as scientific laws. Recall that a law is something in science that describes what will happen. Let's go back up here to this little book. He was born January 1643 in Lincolnshire, England. It says in 1687, Newton published Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, which explained the laws of motion. In this book, Newton used a calculus-like method to determine the attraction of planetary bodies. Legend has it that Newton was inspired when an apple fell onto his head. Okay, so I know one thing I definitely want you to write down, and you can summarize it if you want to, but go ahead and write this. As the Earth spins and rotates around the sun, all of the bodies on it are in motion. So go ahead and take a minute and write that down, and then I'll move down and we'll write some other stuff. If you need to stop. Okay, sorry about that. So go ahead and write this down. If you need to stop the video, go ahead. But I also want you to I'm going to come down a little bit. Let's say, I just want you to put the name and the year, and I'm going to move on down. One thing I want you to recall is it says a law. Recall that a law is something in science that describes what will happen. Remember, this is something that has been proven over and over and over and over. And I could keep saying that, but you get the drift. So anyway, take a few minutes and write this stuff down. Like I said, you can stop the video and move back up, move back so it'll go back up a little bit for you. I'm going to let this run until it says about 5 minutes, and if you need me to, I can hang on to your bell ringers, or if you can, it would be great if you could. But be sure and write today's date, 3/22/16.